block, and you can see that that is the previous block. You can say after the index number, each of the block that has the index number, each of the block have the index number. Just now I show you very long, very huge number that is the index number. So from here, the demo here is started from the index 0, index 1, index 2 only, okay, the block. So then after the block, immediately the second item that should be a previous block, because as I said, the Genesis block, the previous block is no value, is a non-value, 0 value. Then after that you have your data, then you have your timestamp. You can see each of the block, the structure for each of the block are the same ones. So the content in each of the block are the same. So then you have a timestamp, then you have a nonce value that is in the number beside that, this number. This one, this number. If you go and see that, what is this about? Under here, this number. 3462, this number is belong to that. Got a purpose for it. That's why when you change the date, immediately this number cannot found. Okay? Cannot get it. The rest of the number also cannot get it. Okay? So this is just a very simple visualize the block, how the block connect to another block. This is an actual block happening. Actual block happenings in the real market, real blockchain, Ethereum blockchain. Okay? So that I just give you the idea. So is that the blockchain, the word, the blockchain actually is refer a list, has a list of the blocks, has a list of the block together. So this is the nut. Then you can see that it's a current hash. So this current hash value, we use it for another next block to become a previous hash. So that's why the block are linked together, chain it together by using the hash value. That is a concept of that. So whatever you modify your current hash, the rest of the block all will wrong. So they can alert, they know what happened. They can know because why they know the current hash has been modified? Because you change the data. The data here is used to generate the current hash. He used this data together with the previous hash to generate a data to this current hash. So if your data are changed, your current hash value will be wrong already, and this wrong data will passing to the next block. This is a wrong hash, and then you generate a data, and this is will be a wrong hash. So that's a continuous. Okay. So he said that it started with the single block called Genesis block, and each block store the following information and so on. You already understand for that. So that's why this is an idea I capture from there. And then the index number is telling you the positions of the block in the change. It's talking about the positions of the block inside the change. So that's why just now you can see the real market, real blockchain that is so big, the numbers, position of the change. Okay? So Genesis block has the index number 0, and then the next block will be an index number 1, and so on and so forth. So this is the idea telling you for that. So then every transaction already executed to become a block, and the block, remember, transaction got transaction time, block got block times. Okay, the timestamp is different. Just like now, I say that, okay, I got this transaction. I want to transfer money 10 Ether to Sammy. Okay, Sammy, so 10 Ether. So that is the transaction time I want. The transaction that I executed this transaction on this time. But the transaction, when the transaction to turn to become the block, after inside the block change, that is another time. So that is a different time. Maybe it's after few minutes ago or 1 hour ago. If I did not pay gas higher, I'm using the normal gas rate, normal one. I don't want to willing to pay higher free gas. Okay, so that's why the transaction will take longer time for execution. So in this case, the block acted inside the blockchain will be delayed. You may not receive the money immediately. Get me now? You can't see. It's not like our e-banking like that. Oh, I do it now to you, immediately you receive it. Or I'm using the touch and go, immediately I get the money. Cannot one. Okay? You need to wait until the block acted inside the blockchain. Okay? It will take some time to execute for that. Okay? So that is the time. So that is the part over there. Recorded down when the block was created and help to keep the blockchain in order. Okay? And then there is a hash value. As I said, the hash value actually is an alphanumeric value. That is a unique identifier data and it's a digital fingerprint. Your current hash is a fingerprint. Okay? Telling that okay, this transaction has already been executed. And then you have the previous hash, as I said. The previous hash is the previous block value, is the previous block, and the Galaxy block previous hash value with the 0 because we don't have a 0. You have no previous block. So the data, data in each block can store a data on it. So if you are referred to the Bitcoin network, definitely they are referred. The data definitely is a cryptocurrency. Okay, cryptocurrency means that must be a money transfer because Bitcoin network is only talk about money, coin only. But just now you can see my data is welcome to all of you. Okay, can be the character, can be a number, can be a file, can be anything, can be the image. Okay, your transaction can be anything, not only transfer money. Can be update the data inside the state variable, can be data that I want to keep inside, okay, and so on. Can be a file, can be image, anything for the data. Data would be include money transaction. For Bitcoin is a money transaction, but for us it's not. So the nonce value is used. You can see the number is a number used to find the valid hash. It's used to find the valid hash. Okay? So how to get this one and so on, the algorithm one, that is the algorithm one. So let Dr. Wong to cover for the theory one. You need to understand this only, then you know how to write the code. Else, just like that, which one I come to here. Okay, just now I go to come to this particular remix over here. Okay, I open, okay, I change the code, I change the color very ugly, very dark, cannot see. So I go to this one, setting over here, I change the theme to become light. Okay, so from here I change. So from here I go to open one of the contract called storage over here. So then I go and execute the transaction. You can see, oh, got account. If you do not know what is the account, what is it called either and so on, I go you to execute it, the gas limit now, value now, rate now, okay? All these things you do not know what I'm talking about. You know what I mean now? Because you are talking about back end and you are linked back to the block. So that's why when I go and deploy the contract from here, I go and do compile, then I go and do deploy for the contract. Okay? So from here, you saw the transaction, the debug over here. Okay, the status bar transaction hash from where to where, gas bar transaction cost, execution cost. You do not know what I'm talking about. If you do not know the previous what I'm saying just now, you won't understand what is this thing. You are focusing on this. This is your back end. Your back end code. This is your back end code that you're going to write from here. Okay? And you need a money to execute the transaction. You can see just now I just report my money is 100 either already deducted. That's why cannot be simply deployed your contract. So we use the remix to test our back end, write our back end code, then together with the front end. let the front end passing. So you say that, Michelle, in this case, how we are going to enter the data? So we are using this a simple interface over here. Over this side. This side is a simple interface, assuming the front end got this button, somebody press it, key in the data, you passing the data from the front end to the back end. Is your code executed correctly or not? Is what the code executed according to what you want or not? Get me now? So we are not focusing on the front end design. So, but your assignment need to do so. Your assignment just need you to have a simple front end design. Okay? So first class I said that if you say, Michelle, very challenging, I cannot link from the front end to the back end, but you still need to design from the front end. Linking from the front end to the back end is not easier. It's not easier. As you know, if you have an experience, you definitely have an experience to write your JavaScript in your web page design and development. I myself also write a JavaScript for your front end web page design development last time. I don't like JavaScript. Why? Reason is you have a minor mistake in the JavaScript. Immediately or everything cannot execute. You need to go and look for the development tool there and go and solve your code. Okay? JavaScript also very hard to do a debugging. They are not like your C++ or C, or code is wrong, they highlighted this is wrong for you. No like. Okay? They don't go and do that for you. So if JavaScript, something wrong, usually when I write the JavaScript, I write part of it. This part can execute, then I go and write a second function. I expand my function later, and so on. I don't immediately cook. So and then you have very hard to go and do debugging. Okay? So it's a part. So this is why that you need to understand the concept of this. Okay? So that's why to find a valid hash, we need to find the nonce value that you produce the valid hash. So that is a link. So when using the rest of the information from the block, how is find the nonce value, that Dr. Wong will come. So this is an actual, okay? This is the actual, the date is I get it from your reference book. Your reference book, I bring it. You don't need to buy the reference book. The sample, the quote over there, also from some of your reference book. So the reference book is in my car. Okay, in my car. So I later on next week. So you're going to see that this is a block. Just now you see your block. I click on the block in the real mainnet. I click on the block. You can see that there is 128 transactions. So all these transactions is gathered together inside the block, and then later on you are going to add the block inside your blockchain over here. So this is a Genesis block, and then you have a block 1 and so on. Then you are after it, you are going to append to the change on the consensus of the participants note. So participant note. Over here we don't call our server, we don't have a server, but we call it as a node, N-O-D-E-S, node, participant node. Okay? So this is an index number, that is the index number, the block. So this is the idea given you for that. Now, as I said, we have many blockchains. You can go and Google, and there is more than 10 blockchain in the market. And some of them over here is a private blockchain, some of them is a public blockchain, more than that. So IBM blockchain they have, but that one need to pay money one. That one is a private blockchain. Okay? We cannot cover so many types of blockchain. We cover the one that is common to be used, okay, in the market. And as a programmer, you can create your own blockchain. So that is a public blockchain which we are going to learn for Ethereum. So Hyperledger, Okay, you have a Hyperledger Fabric or other blockchains also. If you go and key it, you go back to your min over here. Now what? It's like we try a lot. So because it's an open source, Hyperledger. You go back to the official website for this one. Hyperledger Foundation. This is the icon for this. Ethereum is okay. I go and open another one. Ethereum is this one. The official website for Ethereum. This one, Ethereum org. So now let you have a look from this. So Hyperledger Foundation is an open source blockchain, but it's part under private. Okay, private blockchain. So now I open this and you can see there can be some of them that say consortium. So anyhow, I go and look. Let you see under the Hyperledger is a big project. Okay. So big project, and then under this Hyperledger, this is a project. Fabric is one only. Hyperledger Fabric, the concept, this project, this private blockchain is similar to the Ethereum blockchain. Get what I mean now? There's still got other indie, there's still got other value, Ares, Aroha, soft tools. All these different purpose of private blockchain for different purpose, not for the same purpose one. We are using Hyperledger Fabric for the transaction, same like what we do in Ethereum. Okay, so like my FIP student in a past, they are doing Hyperledger indeed. This one for your verification of your cert. Now let's say you graduate, you have your TAR-UC cert, transcript, all these things. Okay, so the U will give you a code, the hash value. This hash value is represent your cert. Okay, so when someone, let's say you go and interview for a company. You interview by the company, you need to submit your resume and so on. You just give this number to your company. The company can verify with the college. Okay? This is a real cert number. Because that is a unique number. So that is an indie purpose. That is not for transaction. It's not I pay money to you, you pay money for me. No. Okay? If you wanted to verify that is a cert, if you are now currently, what you're going to do for your current transcript and so on. Okay? So the university need to go and look for a school and check whether this transcript is belong to this cert is belong to you or not. Am I right? Or you need to come to the MQA, something like that, to look for your cert. Whether you are really graduate from this or you have a fixed cert. Okay? But for that is no, you know it, you can ignore this kind of the transaction. So that's why there is a market for this. Industry project handled by last year, 1 year ago. Okay? And this kind of languages students go and learn by themselves because of not Ethereum industrial project. So those who are interested for industrial project can look for me. Okay? Dr. Wong also got a lot of industrial project for that. So that is a part. Okay, so that's why over here over this side I only mentioned Hyperledger Fabric, but actually we still got others one, okay? Not only that. So that's another one's like under this one is Ethereum.org is the official website. What I'm saying is the official website, whatever the update, because it's an open source. they are very frequently go and update for our source code, our code, the standard. So that's why usually as a developer, documentation is very important. Okay, I'm always referring to the documentation, especially they are changing from Web 2 to become a Web 3 and so on. Okay, the documentation over there, and another one is the Solidity languages documentation. Okay, Solidity. This is our program code, our backend documentation. Okay, Solidity document docs.solidity.length over here. I always need to refer from here. Okay, from this content. So there are so many versions. You can see from that. The latest version is 0.8.2 and so on. So which version that you should go and use for your program? Okay? Because they are changing now, one they are changes and so on. There will be a different one. So that is a part. Okay, you can go. That is to give you the idea. Don't worry. Today I give you a lot of link. You saw a lot of link over there. So don't worry about that. We will go through. So let's say I'm going and type in the Google. They tell me that the 10 top blockchain platform you need to know about. Okay, you can see there's a Hyperledger Fabric. They have a Hyperledger soft tools. Okay, so used for different purposes. So the multi-chains, open chains, and so on. But for us, we first of all, we need to determine the structure of your application. Whether you really need to move on to a client or from client and server network to become a public peer-to-peer network or not. You ask. Remember, you go out, you work, you need to do a proposal, you need to demo, you need to propose your system to your client and so on. First of all, how blockchain solutions are deployed and what their structure is. Okay, so first thing, structure of the application you have on the back end and also the front end. The developer, you as the developer, you need to decide how best to solve the problem. The client gives you a problem, whether you need to directly move it to the client, use client and server network, or using peer-to-peer network blockchain. Is which one have a pros and cons you need to be evaluated. Don't just create a blockchain, wow, very smart, we use public blockchains, but at the end, no people use. Why? Client need to pay money. Are you using public blockchain better or using private blockchain will be better? Every transaction will need to pay money. Are the client willing to pay this money or not? And you also need to consider the rate and so on. Okay? So is it only Ethereum is one of the solutions? Can we use other or not? Now we have another that is no need to pay one. But it's different infrastructure. Okay, that's another one later on. So whether used for existing blockchain or you go and create a new one, it means that you are using the existing blockchain, you create a DM and deploy it in the existing blockchain, or you totally go and create a new blockchain for your own use, for purpose, you can. Right? That's why the market is so many blockchains. But whether one day they're gone or not, they will disappear or not, another one story. If people not using your new blockchain that you created, it's no use. But Ethereum is so many people use, and the money is worth, money is there, and so on. That are well maintained. You remember, blockchain need to maintain one. Blockchain itself need to maintain. Need a developer to maintain this blockchain. Let's say now, I want to create a new blockchain. I call child DY blockchain. Inside I got a money called child money. Child child money. Who will go to use it? Got money or not? The money worth it or not? Get me or not? So the child blockchain over here, you also need to have a programmer to maintain on that. Not simply got I create one, oh very good that I create already. Who use? No people use, no point. You create for it, for what? No things, no money for that. Okay? So if we assume that we are using an Ethereum blockchain, then start by planning and building all the elements of the system, including your smart contract, using use the private blockchain instead of locally on your computer. So what does this mean? Is that now we already decided using an Ethereum blockchain. So now we need to start to do planning, and we need to build all the elements of the system. So we need to build our smart contract. So we need to build our private blockchain. Means that we need to build our local blockchain. Okay, our private local blockchain on our computer to do testing. This is what I said, that we are using local blockchain to test our code. Okay? So now, just now I did mention to you, truffle, you understand, for entirety app. Remix, just now I already show you. Remix, that is for us to write the code. Then we need to have this MetaMask. MetaMask will be over here. This one. It's like move like that. That is a MetaMask. MetaMask. Okay? Got idea or not? Listening or not? Not playing finger. Okay? So as I said, front end and back end. Over this side. This one is a back end. So now this is your key app. Okay. So now, so this is your front end. Front end will be your HTML, CSS, JavaScript. Okay? So I said front end need to link it back to your back end. Your back end is your, after this is your blockchain already, your blockchain under your Ethereum. Okay, so your behind got a lot of block over there. So you want to pass in the data you link from your back end and front end, you need to use MetaMask. This thing. Okay? Your transaction all will come here and pass down over here. Okay? Whatever your money you wanted to transfer, you will here. So that's why MetaMask will keep your wallet. Because I said now, your front end, you want to execute transaction. Just now you can see the block. Yes, the block just demo for you how to change the block, link it together, change it together. But he's not telling you the transaction. So that's why when you are doing the transaction, your MetaMask inside you need to have a wallet. This wallet is the money. Okay, and then your MetaMask also need to indicate that your network, which network that you are connected. Just now I said you are connected to a mainnet, you can connect it to your testnet, you can connect it to your local blockchain network. So you need to indicate your network and inside your wallet. So if your mainnet know that, if your mainnet, your Ethereum network no money one, then it will show you 0. Okay? If your Ethereum, your testnet will already redeem certain money from certain testnet, then you go for that testnet and then they will show you the money under that. So then you can do the transaction. Only you can passing down your transaction. Okay? So that's why MetaMask will be the another one. You can see World 3, Web 3, World 3, Web 3. Okay? Trusted by billion, MetaMask is a secure wallet making the world of Web 3 accessible to all. You will go and create. You will go and create an account. Don't worry, not today, not today. Today for concept, for the things what you want. So just now I mentioned your backend code called smart contract, and smart contract is using a language called Solidity, and then we will go and using a Truffle. Truffle you need to do installation to form your network to have your backend to have this private blockchain. Okay, so you have a development framework. Truffle manage the code, help us to manage the code and compile our smart contract. It contact the tool for us to deploy our contract, to deploy our DApp. I could not use contract. To deploy our DApp, do a testing and access to the 100 of the package to expand our functionality. So the Truffle actually will be grouped with the Ganache. They will use together with the Ganache. So you can see under your account over here, just now, under your Truffle over this side, the Truffle over here, you scroll down, end-to-end deployment, then you will come here to show what? Under this, they change the interface already. Where is my Ganache? Ganache. Okay? Ganache is this one. So in our PC, we already have the Ganache. This one. I already installed the Ganache. So I think next week, based on the schedule, next week will be Ethereum. I will go and create the account for you. I know I'm not finished. So I will go to, if you wanted to bring your laptop, if you wanted to make sure you're installed successfully and so on, you can bring your laptop and do set up for your library, create an Ethereum. I will go and tell you how to create an Ethereum wallet and also the environment. I will guide you what are the software you need to install to make sure you have your local blockchain, what are the settings that you need to have. Sometimes you may encounter the error also. So then after that you will go to create a wallet by using the MetaMask. Only then you can go and redeem money. Okay, you can go and redeem money. So then you are going to have a different testnet. Then you can see where is the money. Okay, and so on and so forth. This is what we'll be going to do on next week. Right? So next week you have your own account already. So this is a Ganache. So I just wanted to have a quick start for you. And this is the account. As I said, we need to do a testing of the account. So under the remix over here, this is all an account. Under the remix, just now you saw over. Okay, so just now you saw this particular. Don't worry. I just introduced to you only. Don't worry about that. You said, Michelle, you go too fast. We cannot follow that. Okay, this account. Okay, as I said just now, you see the Ethereum. You have a from this account. You transfer the money to this account. You can't see the name child deploy. You can't see bank account, but you can see all this hexa. This all hexadecimal number. That is an account. There are two different accounts. One is a contract account. One is an EOA account. POA account over here got money. This money 100 Ether over here is for you to do testing. It's not the real money. Okay? It's not the real money. It's for you to testing the transaction inside the remix. So that's why when you come to deploy your DApp, when you deploy a DApp, here also got the account. This account or address are the same. This like your account, your address. So this address inside here got this 100 Ether. Okay? This one can for you to see your front end transaction minus the money from here, deduct the money from here, and transaction has been added inside the block from here. Block here. Okay? So that's why from here you cannot say, why not? Why not from remix here? Remix here only focus on the back end. Your front end interface, interface, they don't have. There is only can given you over here these two buttons only. Okay? Get me now? You can't link it to the MetaMask. You can't focus. You can't see the front end. Whether your front end hook correctly with your MetaMask with the Web3 account, you can't see from here. This is only focused on the back end. Only you're using a truffle. Only you're using a truffle, you can do so. So just now you saw the Ganesh tool is for account for you. Then you have the result over here. You can use. Remember, front end can use different language. You don't want to use this JavaScript. You have other languages like under the truffle here. They say that they're using a result over here. Okay. This is for a front-end design. It's up to you. Okay? So Remix, MetaMask. Okay, let me finish this one. Remix is an online Solidity IDE, but you also can download it on your desktop. You don't want to compile it using the online one. Actually, now they also got desktop version. Okay, but I will use that one. So MetaMask is a tool to connect your browser. MetaMask is connect your browser because your front end is deployed from the browser to the Ethereum blockchain. Can be a private blockchain, can be a testnet, and also a mainnet. So that's why you are using the MetaMask like a bridge for you to connect back to your back end. And how to connecting your back end code must be right. Okay? Must be go and do coding one. So for a private blockchain, testnet, and also mainnet. So because of the DApp do not have the single server like standard application do, so that's why this additional layer is currently needed to make sure that your user, your end user can connect to your back end. Okay? For a transaction. So this thing I will cover on next week. Okay, only just another few slides. So MetaMask, just now I already mentioned to you like a Google account like that. Okay, interact with your Ethereum network. So we have a private network or private blockchain. We have a testnet. So we have a test either on the testnet is free, but you need to redeem. So that's a mainnet. Mainnet is the real money already. So that's why on the testnet, the code but can be fixed. Final product ready version of the DApp can be reached. And then this is the time for you to deploy your testnet, to deploy your DApp onto the mainnet. Okay? So that's why here we're using a testnet is because we are whatever they would is that to provide more realistic environment for the developer to run the smart contract based on the DApp without consequence of the losing of the real currency because the money is not the real one. So these networks are smaller than the main network, but it's a fully functioning blockchain implementation. They also maintain for this testnet for a developer to test their program. Okay, not the end user go on. Okay, end user won't go in here. Okay, only a developer do testing for the program to make sure free error. Only then they deploy on the mainnet. So we will go for this. Okay, I will teach you step, but we are not going to midnight. But I will tell you where you go to report your midnight, which website for you to report on your midnight when you have a money and you are ready. Okay? So usually your FYP project is until testnet if you want to do your FYP. Okay? So that's all for today. See you on next week. So if you want to bring your laptop on next week, you can do